media conglomerates, KEFM owner John Webster shows that there is still a place in the market for a strong, independent voice. Day in and day out, John proves you don't have to be the biggest to be a leader in your industry, that tenacity and foresight may have more to do with success than size. Born here in Omaha, John attended high school in Faribault, Minnesota, at the Shattuck Military Academy. After one too many frigid Minnesota winters, he escaped to the west and the more hospitable climate of the San Francisco Bay Area. While there, he received a degree in business administration from Menlo College's School of Business. After graduation, John returned to Omaha and his roots. In 1976, he teamed up with his father, real estate man William B. Webster, and veteran broadcaster Joe H. Baker to form Webster Baker Broadcasting. The goal of Webster Baker, to acquire the license of Coil and KEFM, two stations in hot water with the FCC for violating the agency's rules.
Late last week, a local broadcasting executive announced that he and two real estate partners had formed a corporation to apply for the broadcasting licenses assigned to KOIL and KEFM.
It's a good thing John and his partners were patient, because it took the powers in Washington, D.C. 8 long years to award the license to the fledgling operators. While Webster Baker awaited the FCC's decision, KEFM's antenna blew down and the station was off the air for 3 years. In effect, John, his dad, and their partner fought 8 years to gain control of a station that no longer existed. Through the struggles and turmoil, however, the men never lost their enthusiasm for the project or their belief that they could build KEFM into a solid business and a valuable service to Omaha listeners. The FCC finally awarded Webster Baker the license, and the partners began to rebuild the station from the ground up.
We went on the air October 21st, 1983, and on the plaque on my wall it says 10:22. Well, I want to straighten that out for the record and make a correction. It's actually 10:21 a.m. And if you recall the struggle we had to get on the air with the cab company, we ended up turning the transmitter on initially for testing. About 30 minutes later, I have a guy show up at the door from Mobile Communications, and the minute he walked in the door, I knew there was something wrong, so I just reached over and shut the transmitter off, asked him what the problem was, and we were interfering with the cab company. And I believe that delayed us about 3 or 4 days. That was one of the obstacles we had in the process of going on the air.
Good afternoon. This is KEFM, Omaha, Nebraska.
In 1983, the station returned to the air. Now it was time to show their stuff, and they did. Unfortunately, their stuff wasn't what the audience wanted to hear, and the original format turned out to be a flop. So in 1984, John switched the station to adult contemporary and introduced Rite 96. The new programming was a hit, and KEFM started its trek to the top of the Omaha radio scene. About the same time, partner Joe Baker retired, so John and his dad bought Baker's share of the company. Thus, Webster Communications Company was born. Since then, John has guided the station to #1 in the Omaha market, quite a distinction when you consider today's radio environment.
There are people that have worked for him 19, 18, 17, a slew of people for a decade or more years. And he's allowed a lot of us to raise our families in a business where turnover is rather high in radio, and has allowed us to raise our families in a community that we love and to do the things that we like to do. And there's a reason for that. It's because he sets the tone as the owner, and we all appreciate that.
KEFM's growth is testimony to the fact that with hard work, the right product, and dogged determination, a radio David like John can take on the broadcast giants and come out on top. To John, success in life goes well beyond the boardroom. That's why he lends his talents, time, and spirit to many non-broadcast charitable organizations.
John has always been there for youth athletics. Whenever we asked, I remember we first met John in 1995 to ask him to come aboard to help us with a thought that we had at that time called UNO Hockey. And John was one of our charter members of our hockey committee, and he was always there for us, especially when it came to marketing and promoting of the hockey program. And to you, John, I say thank you, and also congratulations for this fine award.
Over the years, he has actively supported the Omaha Symphony, been a director for the Metropolitan Community College Foundation, served as president of the Scottish Rite Foundation, and worked as a director for the Fontenelle Forest Association. John, everyone here thanks you for sharing your time, your passion, and your love of the business with us, your friends at the Nebraska Association of Broadcasters.